Hey everybody, Matty Ice here, back with another build video. So in the last build, with the Poisoned Solar Warlock, I said I was going to do a dedicated healing Warlock build. So that's what I have here for you. Try to ignore the stat distributions here. These are just some armor pieces I found put together to show off the mods. So for stat distributions, you're going to want high resilience, high recovery, high discipline, with strength being kind of up there as well. That's kind of your standard Warlock stat distribution anyway for PvE, so that should be nothing new to you guys. Alright, for weapons, you can kind of do your primary and heavy however you see fit, but Edge of Intent is what you're going to want if you're really leaning into the healing build part of this. And that's because you can drop that restorative turret, which they did tweak slightly and buff a little bit. Alright, for armor, kind of have two thoughts going on here. One is what I have here with Protective Light and Dynamo. So Protective Light is just to keep you alive a little bit after you become charged with light. It did get nerfed, but it's still pretty useful, especially when stacked on top of the high resilience. Dynamo is just kind of fill out the rest of the energy and help you get your super back a little faster, because you will be dropping your Rift pretty frequently. You're going to want Stasis Arms here. Charge with elemental charge, so you can become charged with light. Grenade kickstart, so when you throw your grenade, you'll get that chunk back a little faster, and then you have a little bit of leftover energy for a champion mod. The armor, I'm going to go solar armor with melee Wellmaker. Because your grenade does not do damage and can't actually kill, you're not going to be able to generate wells off of your grenade, so we're going to go melee Wellmaker. You could swap this around to some other form of well generation, depending on what weapons you're using, but this is kind of like a standard across the board generation. Boots of the Assembler. This helps you send out those Noble Seekers to heal your teammates. I have them on Arc for Seeking Wells. Absolution and Invigoration, kind of what you want there. And then on your Bond, you want Solar Bond, so you can have Well of Life to keep yourself up on top of Protective Light. And then Double Bomber, kind of a must there, so you get your grenade back even faster. Alright, moving into the aspects Fragments. Healing Rift, again this is a healing build, so it should be nothing too surprising there. That stacks very, very well with Boots of the Assembler. You're going to want Well of Radiance, because again, we're going healing. I prefer Celestial Fire for this one just because it has the range. It's got a slightly longer base cooldown of 10 seconds, but that's not a huge deal. And it's got the range and flexibility there. You're going to want your Healing Grenade. I think that's kind of obvious. This does cure and restoration, and when paired with Touch of Flame, which is pretty much just a staple of any Warlock build because it just buffs your grenades, it provides more restoration. Heat Rises, you can kind of swap this one out with Icarus Dash if you really wanted to. So Icarus Dash is just so you can move around a little bit faster and get a little more mobile. Heat Rises you would want if you want to try and kill things from the air, just so you can get your melee back faster. So those are a little interchangeable. That kind of comes down to preference here. Alright, for Fragments, we're going to go Solace, so that you have longer Radiant Restoration. Ember of Torches, so you can make yourself and allies radiant with your melee. Now Benevolent, that's the big one here. So this is the one where you can reduce your grenade, melee, and class ability whenever you apply Cure, Restoration, or Radiant. So that's where we're going to try and stack our Rift, our grenade, and our melee to kind of keep them all chaining together. So that's kind of like the old Middle Tree solar loop that we had going on. And then I've got Empyrean on here just so you can extend it on yourself. But since you're going to be applying restoration fairly frequently with your grenade, you could potentially drop this one. Or you could drop Solace. I would not drop both, but you could drop one or the other if you had some other fragment in mind. I personally couldn't think of another one that I'd really want to use, because a lot of them go off of ignitions, which you're not going to really be igniting things. you're not really applying too many scorch stacks, so ashes isn't really necessary. So yeah, I personally couldn't think of a better one, but if you do, let me know and I can look into it and maybe update the video. But yeah, so that's the build here. Again, the idea is you get some kills with your Edge of Intent, you can drop a restorative turret, you put a rift down, boost the assembler, helps send out those noble seekers to apply healing to your team. You can throw a grenade for a burst of restoration. You can shoot your melee, make yourself radiant and your teammates radiant, and doing any of those things should reduce your cooldown because of benevolence. So what I'm going to do here now is drop into just the Leviathan here and kind of show you how it works in the team setting, just so you can see how much benevolence actually does for you, how quickly you can get your abilities back, and so on. Alright, before we drop into the Leviathan, I forgot I was supposed to show you the other option that I thought of for your mods. So instead of melee Wellmaker on the chest, you'd swap that over to Firepower, so that when you are charged with light, you can get your grenade back faster. You keep Elemental Charge on the arms, but then swap Protective Light to Elemental Armaments. So you're essentially swapping your Charge with Light consumption on the helmet to your Charge with Light generation, and then your consumption goes on the chest piece instead of your generation. And Firepower is just going to get your grenade energy back faster whenever you use a grenade, so it's like an extra version of Grenade Kickstart on the arms. But as you'll see from the gameplay here in a second, Benevolence does some pretty good work there. Now I'm going to cut back over to the Leviathan and you can see how it works. Alright, so here we are. We already have a containment active, which is great. So we got, looks like 4 other people here. So I'm going to start off by just throwing my grenade at this guy over here. Boom, you can see I've already got a good chunk of my grenade back, and it's recharging very quickly. Ember of Benevolence just dropped off. Now I can put my rift down. I'm healing myself, but these seekers should start hitting other people as I'm standing in it. And then I can make myself radiant, allies radiant.
Did you think it would be that simple?
Benevolence is active still, so you can see I got my grenade back already, just as my rift is kind of going away. So I can hit that guy up again. You can see my rift is almost back as well. So it's not as good as the old solar loop was, because that was very powerful. But this is almost as good. Alright, so now I've got 5 kills here. So now I can drop a healing turret. I'm going to put my rift down first. You see Ember Benevolence is still going on here, because I've hit some people with those Noble Seekers. I can hit that guy, keep it out. Get myself. Not sure what happened to my my shot there. Gonna shoot that in the middle here. It's starting to heal my teammates, and you can see Ember and Benevolence is proccing every time it hits that guy. So that's what really gets your abilities going back very quickly. Throw a grenade, drop a rift. This is all just kind of looping into each other.
Rises,
and again, if I need to, I can get somewhat close to my teammate, make him radiant. That also procs Benevolence. So you can see the loop is, it's there. It's not as good as it was before, but it's not supposed to be because it was very powerful before. But if you do it right, you can chain all your things together, and it goes pretty well. So yeah, that's the build. So let me know what you think. As always, I would appreciate a like and subscribe to the video and channel, and let me know if you make any changes to this build. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.